Claire, welcome to Wealth Talk today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh,
Exciting.
yeah, it is very exciting. I believe this might be your first ever podcast, right?
This is my debut. I've made it.
All
I've
right.
made it in the world.
All right. Hopefully you're not trembling too much. It'll be a nice, easy conversation today. And it's really, really going to be a good one because, I remember we first met, actually, I think it was through Escape the Rat Race, right? My business. And
Yes.
did you grab even a copy of my book, perhaps?
Yes. You were the catalyst that started all this, Christian.
Oh, well, I'm very pleased. And then obviously you joined us over at Wealth Builders. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind ride, hasn't it, the last year and a half for you?
It really has, and I think you don't quite realise where it's going to take you, but the more I get through this journey, the more excited and confident I'm becoming, and absolutely loving it.
Good.
Yeah.
So we are going to follow a familiar format today with our member spotlights, and that's just really walking through the recurring revenue roadmap, which is our process which we teach all of our members inside the Wealth Builders Academy to move from a place of financial insecurity to financial security and then on to independence. And we know on average that's a journey that takes people around about 5 years or so if they're committed, if they're focused, if they really stick to the process. So we're going to begin from step one. So the roadmap's broken down into 3 stages. We know stage 1 is all about building confidence, and then stage 2 is building knowledge, and stage 3 is building assets. So stage 1, building confidence, and then step 1 is all about the mindset, Claire. So let's begin with the reason why. Was there a particular catalyst for you, or a point which you can look back to and say, that was kind of the trigger. That was where I decided enough is enough. I've got to do something about this.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of reached a point in my life where I just felt a bit stuck, and I'd been feeling like that for a few years. And I think I felt stuck in my career. I didn't really know where the next challenge was coming from. And the challenge had gone in my job and sort of gone in life in general for me. And I remember feeling particularly fed up. I think it was around Christmas time with work. One year, picked up your book, Christian, Sack the Boss. Brilliant title. I was like, Sack the Boss, yes. And it was just such a great read, just to hear how things could be different. And actually there were other options out there. You didn't have to follow this, work till you flog yourself till you die kind of format. And then it was from your book that led me on to Wealth Builders. And then I started listening avidly to anything you guys put out, the weekly podcasts and any of the content that you shared, you and Kevin shared. And it didn't take me long to know that I really wanted to be part of Wealth Builders. And really what I was listening just blew my mind. I always hear, you don't know what you don't know. And that was just so true. I just didn't know so much. But I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. So that's what led me here.
So you took that all important first step, and okay, so that leads us on to step 2 then, Claire, which is the foundation. So this is about getting crystal clear on how much asset income that you're generating currently in your life, and then how much you require in order to reach the next wealth level. So which of the 5 wealth levels were you at when you joined, Claire?
So when we joined, we were at financial insecurity, heavily reliant on job income, both myself and my husband, and had a tiny amount of asset income coming in from a buy-to-let, but not a lot. So now, after I joined about a year and a half ago, we've reached about £1,600-1,700 a month recurring income now. And we're looking towards 2022 hitting our financial security number of sort of £3,000.
Wow.
And we're well on track for that, and we just can feel really the momentum picking up pace as we go along.
That's great progress. So kind of halfway to security in
Yes.
18 months or so. So really good. And then another aspect of the foundation is a review of what we call the debits process. So just looking at all the outgoings in your life and following that process. So is that something that you and your husband went through? Did you have any observations, any savings there?
Yeah, I think I'd always been pretty good at tracking what we were spending, and my husband not so much. So it was good for us to sit together, and I was like, "What are you paying for? What's that? Get rid of it." But it was really nice. We sat together, and actually we looked at, what do we really spend? What can we cut out that at the moment, is not going to get us to our goal. And we managed actually to cut out quite a lot, and we've managed to have quite a high savings rate because of that. Managed to put in quite a bit away a month.
Good. And then the key is then obviously reallocating those savings into other wealth building activities.
Yes. And that's what I never knew. I was always good at saving money, but I didn't then know what to do with it. So this is where Wealth Builders is just invaluable.
Great. So the final step in stage 1 is the roof. And this is all about protecting you and your assets and your family. So were you able to review the elements of the roof, Claire? And did you have all of the necessary protection in place?
I'm very embarrassed to say that we had nothing in place. So I had on a to-do list will for about 5 years and I never got round to it. So now I'm really thankful to say that we've got a will in place with sort of lasting and power of attorney. So if anything, happens to us, we've got all our affairs taken, people that help us. And we had no life insurance. We had no critical illness cover. When I think back, I was like, oh my gosh, But I guess I didn't really know about this stuff either.
No.
So we've educated ourselves about why it's so important to have this in place and to protect all your assets as you're building them.
Yeah. And how does that make you feel now that you've got that in place?
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I just, it's them things that keep you up at night sometimes. You're like, oh, I must do that will, but actually, where do I start? Who do I go to? What does it actually even mean? It's just such a nice feeling to feel, that's all done.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of stage 1. And sometimes, we speak to people, Claire, and they perhaps already feel like they're progressing quite well on their journey, and they say, oh, well, I think, foundation, I've kind of covered all that stuff, right? But there's a lot in there, and actually, most likely there are a few little things, important things, which just need to be double checked and made sure that they are done. And that gives you the peace of mind to then go on and start building your knowledge and building your assets, which is where we're moving into now. So stage 2 is all about building knowledge, and step 4 is the 7 pillars of wealth. We call it the assets there. So the 7 different pillars, as you well know, Claire, which did you already have some experience with when you first joined Wealth Builders, and what other pillars have you been able to utilize since?
So when I first joined, we had just bought a buy-to-let. So we'd been left some inheritance money. Unfortunately, my husband's father passed away, and we really wanted to use that money towards starting to create a different life for ourselves, and not just fritter it away, really. So we had a little bit of knowledge on property, but that was it, to be honest. So I went on a bit of a journey finding out about property, and before Wealth Builders, I guess I didn't really know where to turn for education as well. So when I joined the Wealth Builders, sort of a few months after, I did Bronwyn Verncombe's. She's got a property course which teaches you a bit about all the different strategies, which was amazing. You hear all these names flying around. So I did that. It was amazing. And I also did Ian Halfpenny's Buy Refurb Refinance course. Yeah. And for a relatively small amount of money, you can learn just so much. So since joining, we've done property, we've done home capacity, joint venture, and pension. So we've ticked off, and property. So I think that's 5 we're at.
Good.
No, 4, I think. 4.
Okay. So that's good. One of anything is risky, as we say. So a lot of people, reliant on one source of income. That's often just from a job, and we know that that could disappear tomorrow. But then some people just build their wealth in one pillar as well, and you know, that can be risky as well. So diversifying across as many pillars as possible, again, just gives you that financial stability, that peace of mind, no matter what's happening out there in the economy. So so okay, good stuff. 4 assets. And then step 5 is leverage. So leverage is the key to wealth building and isn't necessarily always financial, but it could be intellectual leverage, relationship leverage, system leverage, and time leverage. So can you provide us with an example of how you've brought leverage into play to help you build your wealth?
Yeah, I think one of the key things actually with our joint venture, and you know, I sort of gained a lot of confidence from the wealth building community, was to go out and you know, I had the finances but didn't have the knowledge of the holiday let industry. So my joint venture partner runs holiday lets, so I've sort of leveraged his knowledge of the holiday let, and he runs it, and he's teaching me a lot about that side of things. And, you know, in turn, I've been able to provide some finances to fund the project or part of the project. I think my favourite thing about the wealth builders is the community, and everyone's working towards a better life and future for themselves. But we all do get stuck. We get frustrated. We need help. And we've got a SAS focus group, which is a SAS holiday let focus group. And it's full of people, all different stages of their journey. And you just come away feeling so inspired by, you know, the different levels people are at. And also actually one other thing that happened recently is I connected with a new wealth builder in the community. She wanted to know, and her sister wanted to know more about holiday lets. So I was like, yes, I know that. And she was like, oh, I'm doing HMOs. So I was like, oh, I don't know anything about that. So we're going to do a bit of a knowledge swap. And we're actually meeting up in a couple of weeks' time. We're doing a wealth builders face-to-face meet in East London.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, well, I think there might be more than just a couple of you there. I can see the momentum building for that one in our Facebook group. So no, that's really cool. And you mentioned your joint venture partner there. How did you go about finding them?
So they were a part of Simon Zucchi's mastermind group, which I'd sort of learned about Simon Zucchi, you know, obviously extremely knowledgeable about property. So I'd sort of read a couple of his books and then again sort of led on to the PIN community. I found you know, the guy is called Saunders. He won't mind me mentioning him, I know. And he was actually doing some holiday lets and actually renting out some glamping space, and he's got a lot of yurts. I was like, that just sounds so cool. And it probably took about a year, to be honest, to go from our first conversation to buying, you know, this property together. But before Wealth Builders, I just wouldn't have had the confidence to even approach somebody like that. You know, I just literally sent him a message going, oh, I really like what you're doing. Let's chat. And then we went and we met his wife and his family, and we stayed in the holiday let that we've now got together. So that's been an amazing relationship as well.
Excellent. Yeah, that's really, really good. Okay, moving on to step 6 then. So step 6 is strategy. So we know there's many, many strategies out there within each of the pillars. And this is where overwhelm can kick in for people because they just don't know where to begin. So what's been your primary wealth building strategy, Claire? And what other strategies are you also looking at?
So we started off with our in property with our buy-to-lets, sort of that's our little foundation. Then we did learn about sort of buy, refurb, refinance. So we've done a couple of those, and now we're really looking to the holiday lets. You know, we've done one. I'm currently in talks with some other members in the Wealth Builders community about doing another joint venture with them. They also look after holiday lets. So that'll be our next deal, I think, which we're really excited about as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what kind of length of stays are you doing on the holiday lets?
They are typically long weekends or weeks. You know, the one we've got, it's in the Peak District. You know, sleeps 8. You know, so it's lovely all year round because you've got the beautiful walks and hikes.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And are you managing those yourself, or do you have someone to help?
So this is where the sort of leverage comes in again, is that, I'm in London, he actually lives in the Peak District, so he can pop into the house and he actually runs it all. But we catch up probably once a day. I was like, what are we doing about Christmas decorations?
So there's a good lesson there. Anyone living in London saying, oh, it's too expensive down here, I can't buy anything. Yes. There are other places available in the UK.
100%. Yes, completely agree. Actually, all my properties, I have to say as well, are all, they're not in London. Not saying that you can't find anything in London, but they're all around the north.
Okay, good stuff. So that completes stage 2. So now we're moving into stage 3. This is all about building assets, and this is really ongoing, really working the plan and just staying the course. We were chatting earlier that, people just kind of give up too easy sometimes, and wealth building isn't easy. It is hard work, and it does take time, and you've got to stick with it. And I've said before, success is a lagging indicator. You have to put the hard work in. You don't necessarily see the results immediately, but they do come. So step seven is focus, Claire. So once someone has chosen a strategy like you did, the key is to follow the wheel of wealth. And that means education, support, connections, due diligence, and then taking guided action. And this is where our wealth coaches are there each month to help you stay laser focused and turn that wheel. So what benefits have you gained from following this process, Claire, and having that accountability from your coach?
The wealth coach is just amazing. I think at the start, and I don't know if everyone's like this, but you go off in all these different directions, down all these rabbit holes. I remember emailing you, I want to start a course, I want to write a book, I want to launch this, launch that. You sort of get all these ideas and then you get overwhelmed. Well, I did anyway. And the wealth coaches, so I have Chris Henry at the moment. He's been really amazing, just helping me to be laser focused on what we're currently doing at the moment. And I've really just niched everything down. And since then, you just have so much clarity and I'm moving so much quicker. And they have just such a vast wealth of knowledge and tools at their disposal that I find if I'm feeling a bit stuck or nothing's really moved after a session with them, I sort of feel I'm on my way again and I've got the motivation back. And yay for the wealth coaches. I love them.
Well, I think the key word I'll pick up on there, Claire, is clarity, because I think when you don't really know what you're doing, like you're uncertain, that's when you don't do anything, and that's when people can drift, right? And then when you get clear, and you're confident that you know exactly what you need to do, just small steps, but you're clear on what those small steps are. And that's what the coach is there to help you with.
Yes.
Every month, just consistently taking small steps forwards. And you look back where you are now, 18 months, and you go, wow, I've come a long way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just challenging sometimes, you get certain things in your mind and they challenge you, in a nice way, to just reframe things, think differently, try something different. And before you know it, you're off again. So good. Brilliant.
All right. Yeah. So as we said, that momentum is definitely building now. So step 8 is results. So we encourage all of our members to track their progress every 30 days. And we send you out a wealth chart when you join and stick that up on your wall. I think, was it your son that I remember you posted a picture in the Facebook group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're regularly talking to them about property as well and holiday lets, and they love listening to it all.
Well, that was so nice to see that picture. And then from those progress reports, we track the progress, right? And you've had a good month recently, Claire. So what did you do, and how much additional recurring income has that added to your wealth monitor?
Yeah, so we recently added the holiday let to our portfolio, and that's added a sort of conservative £600 a month at the moment. The basement that we've got at the property needs a little refurb, and so we're going to turn that into a games room. So I think once that's done, probably looking about more like 800 to 1,000 a month. So I love the fact as well with the holiday let that I sort of feel it is a mini business, and you can go, do you know what can we do to add more value to it, and how can we promote it more, drive more people in? Very excited about that one.
Excellent. And as we said at the beginning, halfway now towards security.
Yes.
And feeling confident that, you're going to hit that.
Yeah, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we will hit it. for me, it's a certainty. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great to hear. And we hear, that's what we hear so often from members. Okay, final step then, accelerate. So by repeating the process of choosing your pillar, then your strategy, and working out what your points of leverage are, then you will move towards a place of financial independence. And for most people, that journey from insecurity to financial independence takes about 5 years, as we mentioned. So what do you see as being key to helping you continue to stay focused and take the necessary steps to reach that financial goal?
Yeah, I think a key will be to make sure we still do our monthly wealth coaching calls. So I think the coaching calls are so important just to keep us focused still and hold us accountable, keep us on track. And also recently we had one with Chris, and he's like, I think you should do a 90-day plan for a project we're going to be working on. I was like, that's a great idea. So I think, again, having a big visual 90-day plan to get us to the next stage of what we're trying to work on. And also connecting with other wealth builders, finding out how they're getting on. And just sharing with other wealth builders and keeping that motivation and inspiration going. And also a massive important one, to celebrate the wins, which sometimes I'm not very good at. I'm a bit like, keep going. But, I think celebrate those wins and reminding ourselves why we're doing it. We want a different life. We want complete freedom. That'll
very important. And yes. And at some point you might be sacking your boss.
Yes. I've started a new job, so maybe hope he's not listening.
Let's hope they're not listening. All right.
No, but that is the ultimate goal. Complete freedom for us as a family, is to do what we want, in life. So no doubt that you will soon be achieving that, Claire. So well done on all everything that you've done so far. Thanks for being a great member of the community, and thanks for sharing with us today. Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you.